Hey guys, I'm Kate, welcome back to my channel, and I was gone for a hot minute because I had the flu, and then also I am right in the middle of beta reads, not just for my story, which I have sent out to my first round of beta readers, but also because I'm beta reading for people. Because my life is consumed with beta reading, I thought I would make a video about beta reading. How to find beta readers, how to be a good beta reader, what to ask of your beta readers. If you have questions, I have answers, and that's what this is for. There is one caveat, like with all writing, everyone has their own method of doing things that they prefer that works better for them. This is just like a general guideline and also a mix of how I do it. Step 1, how do I find beta readers? It's a good freaking question. The people that make the best beta readers aren't necessarily people that you know in your personal life, though if they are readers or they are writers, they are so handy to tap into. There's questions on if they'll tell you the truth or if they don't want to hurt your feelings, where a stranger wouldn't necessarily have that problem. So then the question becomes, where do I find other readers or other writers if I don't have any in my personal life? YouTube. Right here. That is a great place to find them. There are tons of readers and writers on YouTube. Like, you're right here. In this general, you're here, so you probably already know that, but this is untapped potential, you guys. If you have not made writer friends or reader friends through YouTube, go ahead and start doing that. Offer to beta read for other people. You learn so much from beta reading for other people. I cannot emphasize that enough. So seriously, even if you're not ready for it, it's gonna make you a better writer to beta read for other people. Do it! Besides YouTube, you can try the nano forums, different I write places, book conventions, literally anything where book people are. And it doesn't have to just be writing specific places, just like I recommended YouTube. You can try Instagram, you can try Twitter, you can try all sorts of places. Any kind of portion of the internet that readers have carved their way into or other writers have carved their way into, check them out. This is, of course, assuming that you are ready for beta readers. Being ready for beta readers is different for a lot of people. For me, that means that this draft at the current point in time is the best that I can make it. That doesn't mean it's a perfect draft. It doesn't mean it's the best thing that's ever been written. It doesn't mean it is flawless. It just means that at this point, this story is as whole as I can make it. And I personally feel pretty strongly about not wanting to read for other people who don't feel the same, because I don't like reading something when I've been told that one character is already gonna go away, or I know there's this problem, I'm gonna fix this giant plot hole, but just read it anyways. I find that that is so hard for me to be a beta reader for, and I don't like to do it. I'm not saying you don't realize there are issues. If it's one of those where it's like, I don't know what the problem is, but I know there is a problem, that's fine. I'm saying if you already know you're gonna delete a character, then just delete it and then give it to me. It's extra work for the writer to do that then, but it's gonna be extra work regardless, and I think if you already know a huge problem, giving it to other people with that problem still intact is just a waste of your time as the writer and a waste of their time as the reader. And you don't want to burn any beta readers or critique partners if you can help it. This, of course, is just my opinion. There are tons of people who give people their very first draft or their zero draft to read as they are writing, and that takes a different kind of boldness that I think maybe just I'm not comfortable with, or I don't have. I don't know if I ever will be, or it could just be totally different opinions about things, but there you go. That's my advice. So now that some people have agreed to be your beta readers, what do you give them exactly? What are you asking them to beta read? Do you just give them the book and that's it? No. I wrote a blog post about this with the exact questions that I asked my beta readers for this specific story, but I think that they're kind of universal questions that I still think are helpful. I don't use all of them, but I will go ahead and link them down below so that you can check them out if you would like. Most importantly, do have some ideas in mind for what you want your beta readers to do. And these questions can change for me based off of each round of beta readers and also who the beta reader is. So I know that sounds a little bit more complicated than just giving them the book, but I think having that kind of in-depth look at what you want your beta readers to focus on is way more important. So for my first round of beta readers, I always have them focus on the plot and the characters. And yes, I said first round because you will do this multiple times. Welcome to the world of editing and revising. I'm not saying that the language that you choose isn't important, or the specific diction, or the different cadence of the characters. Like, there's so many specifics you can get into about the writing that you did in this story, but that is not important because, again, the story is the most important. And the story you're telling are the characters and the plot. Cool. Cool. So now I have this specific blog post up, but basically the things that I like to focus on are the plot. If anything is confusing, that is the most important part. If my beta readers get lost at some point, that is something I absolutely need to know, because sometimes it's as easy as fixing like 1 or 2 sentences, throwing something in, and other times it's I realize that I really messed this up and I need to just add like a full chapter or 2 in something. That is so important. And something to keep in mind for the reader is that I miss stuff in books often enough. I've gone back a few pages and reread something because I kind of confused myself on what was going on, and that's okay. It's still hugely important feedback for a writer to get. If you're confused at any point in time about why something is happening, how something happened, how we got to here, what time period we're in, anything like that, just jot it down. Say, I am confused and this is why. You don't need to give advice. Just generally, you, the beta reader, don't need to give advice about how to fix something or if you'd like something better to happen here or anything like that, unless the author specifically asks for it, and even then I would not recommend that the author ask for it, because that's your job as the writer. It is not the reader's job to tell you what they want to be reading. Cool. And since the other super important thing is characters, both major and minor, I find that believability, dimensionality, likability, any of those things, I need to know as a writer. Sometimes you write characters that you want the reader to feel a certain way about, and it's not always good, and that's some feedback that you need. Sometimes there's a big reveal and you're like, I want to know if you felt that tension or if you dislike this character all the way up until the end. So those are the kind of things that I think is so important for your first reader or for the first beta read to focus on. What I like to do for my beta reads is I actually send them like a physical copy of the book. I'll print it out. I've talked about this before, which I will link up above and down below, but I will print out a copy. I will give it to whoever is beta reading for me, and I will have like the first page will be my general questions that I want them to focus on. This does not need to be a hugely ridiculous endeavor. I'm asking usually just for like a couple sentences jotted at the end of each chapter kind of thing. I don't need line by line edits unless you're like super into it and you want to circle something that you really liked. That's awesome, but otherwise, that's really not the focus for the first round of beta readers. When you get into the second and third round beta readers, that becomes more of the focus. So if you're lucky enough to have both readers and writers as your beta readers, does that make sense? Have just the readers focus on the first couple rounds of beta reading, and then have the writers, people who might know a little bit more about the nuance of like sentence structure and like different complexities, have them be your second or third round of beta readers. If you are not so lucky, because it can be hard out there to get beta readers and be a critique partner and all sorts of stuff, don't worry about it. You're gonna figure it out. Now finally, if you've offered up to be a beta reader for someone and they give you their draft and they don't tell you anything that they're looking for, go ahead and ask. There is no harm in asking, and sometimes it can actually help to have a conversation with the writer to know what they're looking for. And sometimes a writer will be really specific about what they want, and it could just be that they're looking at one individual character's arc or just the subplots, if you thought that they were enough, if they made sense, if they wrapped up into the main plot. Like, there's so many things that you can focus on for beta reading that I think it's so important to have a conversation, writer and reader coming together over this story. Alright, I think that is all my advice on this topic. Like I said, I'm currently beta reading for some other people, so I'm sure at some point I will come up with more to talk about on this topic. So, beta reading 101, and next time with Professor Kate, beta reading 201. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe I'll go on summer break as a professor and just never come back in this hypothetical scenario, because I will be back and I will have another video up, but it won't be about beta reading. So this analogy really is not going to work. Yay! Please comment down below and let me know if you've ever beta read for anyone, if you would like me to beta read for you, if you're working on something right now. Let's chat. We could be critique partners potentially. And then also, if you have any questions about beta reading, or if you want to just have a discussion on how comfortable it is to get beta readers, because I know that was a hump that took me a long time to get over, was being comfortable enough to share my work in order to even get feedback, which is such an important process in like this writing journey. So yeah, let's just chat about things. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna get back to beta reading and I will see y'all very soon with a new video. Bye. Try and even zoom in. Oh, that's too close. Let's see how many times I could say beta read in one video. That's extra work. Is that a bug? That's a mosquito. Nah. And I'd also love to hear stories about beta reading. Sometimes there are horror stories, which are always interesting. So, you know, that's a positive way to end this video. Ugh.